If you've been putting off buying that new MX gear or you're just looking for some new daily MX related clothing, then head on over to fxrracing.com. Code MXPR_Lins15 at checkout will give you 15% off all motocross and lifestyle products. This code is applicable to the European, Swedish, and Norwegian websites, not Canada or the USA. And whilst I've got your attention, you may as well subscribe to the channel. It's just one click of a button and it puts a big old smile on my face. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. So today's video isn't really about a particular track, you know, there's no certain subject at all. I just wanted to say that I am him. And what I mean by that is, if you've been in the PT servers over the last week or so, because they've all been reset and the MMR's all been reset, you would have seen someone in there absolutely grinding his cheeks off. And that is me. I am him. I know, no big surprise. So I thought I was doing a pretty good job at first of going undercover. However, over the last couple of days, I've noticed in the in-game chat more and more people saying "Hi Lins," like your videos, etc., etc. Which, by the way, always puts a smile on my face. I don't always reply because I tend to get a lot of abuse in online lobbies just for being me, being called like fat, stupid virgin, for example. Just one of many nicknames that I've had these days. But there's been some actually really nice people in online lobbies lately. So for all of you that are very, very kind and supportive, I do see it and I do appreciate it. So thank you very much. It makes a really nice change from just the usual toxic community comments that I see. But I went to go and make a thumbnail for another video that's coming up actually. And I then realised why people then started knowing it was me. Because Mr. Troygen, I'm sure everybody who watches these videos also watch him as well. Very, very popular MX Bikes YouTuber who I would consider to be like the ranked guy. You know, he absolutely dominated all of last season, ended up like thousands and thousands of points ahead of everyone else. I found out that he'd done a video just the other day saying racing against the #1 ranked MX Bikes player, and it ended up being me. And it had my name as him. So thank you, Troy, for technically outing me, although to be fair, it probably wouldn't have been rocket science to find out who I am. If you go to the Pepiti website, which for those of you that are still unaware, it's pepiti.com, Pepiti.com, and you can see all of like the record lap times in these servers, like people's ranking, but how many times they've hit people, how many wins, all that good stuff. If you click on my name on that website, it basically brings up like my logo, which is my Steam profile picture. So it's not rocket science, let's be honest. But this is all a really, really long-winded way of kind of explaining myself as such, because everyone's been like, oh, stop grinding, you sweat, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I don't do anything during the day. This is technically my day job, so, you know, it's a nice little pastime for me to start grinding. However, the main reason that I'm doing this is last season, I feel like I dropped the ball when the whole ranking and the MMR system initially kicked off. Like, I didn't play it for a very, very long time. So then when the time came that I did want to start playing and going through the ranks, I had such a long way to climb back up. And I must have played for like a week straight, just like 12 hours a day, grinding. And it got to a point where I was just so burnt out, I couldn't do it anymore. And I was still many thousands of points behind. So this time round, I wanted to be on the ball the second that it all restarted. And I know Troy, for example, would be trying to push for that #1 spot again. However, I also know that he is not as good of a position as I am in terms of being able to put the time in, because he has his studies, and I don't know if he's in college, whichever stage of his life he's in. But I know he has studying to do, and just like general school overall. So, first of all, that's the reason why I've started grinding so much. The other reason, because you might be like, well, surely if you get a couple of points in the lead, that's fine, and then you can kind of manage it from there. At the point of me recording this video, I have a 4,000 point lead, which if we were to live in an ideal world, and whoever's in second right now was 4,000 points behind, if they was to get 50 points every single race, that would mean, I mean, to be fair, most of the time you only get about max I've seen, I think, is 48, but you would have to beat everybody in the lobby every single time in a completely full lobby for 80 races. That is 80, just to close the deficit. And that's a pretty good position to be in. Now, the reason that I have done that is because I am going away. I don't know if I'll already be on vacation at the point this video goes live. Maybe it's a day or so before I go. But overall, from I believe Friday the 8th of September all the way through to Sunday the 17th of September, which is over a week, that's quite a long time, I will not be able to play the game. So those 80 races, to be fair, over the course of a week, I think is quite manageable. I mean, if to be fair, it's 10 races a day, like averaging, kind of, which I don't think's unreal, especially for people that just genuinely enjoy hopping on and running ranked races. And I also know that because I went and watched back that video that Troy had done of racing against me, and it was on this track as well, actually, but it was just on the factory bikes. At the very end, he's like, because he can't put as much time in as he'd like to, he was telling everybody else to go and start grinding to try and catch up. Also, you see me, the crash that I just had, by the way, this is post commentary. This gameplay was pre-recorded a day or so ago. I'm struggling on the OEMs recently, like whether it's front end stuff, back end stuff, general handling overall. I think the OEM bikes have completely ruined the factory bikes. Sorry, have completely ruined me. Like they've given me too much of a good thing, and now I can't go back. And since the competitions are still being done on OEM bikes, I think I'm going to really struggle, especially in SMX, which at the point of me doing this commentary is today, is this evening. So whenever you see this, it's going to have already happened. I don't know what the final result was going to be, but I'm kind of nervous for it. I can't lie. I might actually have to hop on and do a bunch of OEM practice again, because anytime I hop on them now, the reason I hop on them is there's a lot of these ranked servers up, and 99% of the time I'll join the factory one because that's just what I have the most fun doing. But if it's on a track like Winchester, which I absolutely despise, I think it's the worst track in the rotation that I refuse to play, then I'll go see if another server's available, and usually it's an OEM one. So there's times where I have to use the OEM bikes, which I'm not a big fan of. Also, I'm not sure, do I do it this lap? This step down this hill was actually nuts. I saw some other random person that I was lapping once do it, and I was like, oh my god, that was so quick. So now I've started doing it every lap as well, and it's very satisfying. A lot more difficult to do on the OEM bikes than the factory bikes. I think the factory bikes brakes hook up a lot more. There's a lot less sliding going on. But in terms of like power, they're both pretty equal to get up and over it. I've only done it on 450. I've not tried it on any other bike yet, but cool little line if you want to try doing that. You have to obviously you have to preload the jump and the single, but then you almost have to kind of whip in the air to like flatten your bike out so your wheels don't clip the actual drop off itself to get up and over it. But yeah, very satisfying line. 10 out of 10, would recommend. And it goes to show that no matter what level you are, you can teach someone something new, because there was a random guy that I was lapping that randomly pulled it out, and I'd never seen anyone do it before. So there we go. Thank you to whoever that random person was. But sorry, going back to all this. That's the reason I've been grinding so much. So this is kind of I guess a challenge as such, or like throwing down the gauntlet. So if you have no life, like me, and you can see yourself putting in 80 plus races over the course of a week to kind of close the deficit of the lead, then feel free to do so. I mean, I made the thumbnail for this a day ago. So at the point of me voice recording this, the points have changed slightly. I'm on, I think, about 6,000, and the person in second is on about 2,000. So if you think you can close that bridge, or if you're a little bit lower, everyone starts off on 1,000 points, so maybe you're 5,000 points behind, which would be... Is that 100 races? Yes, that would be 100 perfect races, so to speak. So if you was to average it out and have like any races where you might lose a little bit of MMR, not gain as much as possible, maybe like 120, 130-ish. If you have nothing to do, then by all means, I throw down the challenge. Feel free to do it. I'm guessing the weekend's coming up, of course. There's going to be 2 weekends where I'm not going to be able to play it, so that gives people an entire 4 days to start grinding as well. So I'm not going to give you anything if you beat me, because as soon as I come back, I'm probably just going to start grinding again anyway, because I'm that sad. And you don't even get anything. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for this. There's no reason for the grinding. I think myself this season and like Troy last season, we just like winning, if that makes sense. It's very ego orientated. It's very big headed. At least from my point of view. I do apologise to this man, by the way. That was my fault, not his. He had the line. He was in front of me. I should not have gone that fast. I should have checked up. But we don't get anything for winning unless they randomly reveal prizes for it at a later date. Although You'd think that would happen at the start of the season, not during / towards the end. But yeah, I like seeing my name at the top. I'm definitely going to have to try and constantly be changing aliases now, so people don't see me. And I've got like 30 or so something records on the website now, and it's a bit deceiving because there's only a handful of tracks and handful of lap times that I've done that are records that I consider to actually be really good laps. Like, I love Assen, and I also really enjoy Mantua, the two sand stock tracks on the factory bikes. I seem to have really good laps around there. But most of the records is just from riding bikes that no one really uses on these tracks, like the Factory 125, Factory 144, even some of the 252 strokes as well. But yeah, the lap times aren't that solid. So feel free to have a look through the website and see if you can beat any of them, and I'll see how many of my laps have been broken by the time I get back. I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot a little bit by making this, because way back when a PT, well, the whole thing was kind of fresh, I'd done a video on getting the world record on Budds Creek / Maryland in the PT servers. And literally the day after, it had been beaten by like 5 different people. So I'm aware that I'm probably going to get home and might even be a couple thousand points behind. Probably going to go from having 36 records to about 10. But it is what it is. You know, it's all part of the fun. It's all part of the challenge. And that's kind of all I've got. You know, I kind of went into this recording having no idea how I was going to be able to talk over this entire race for 11 minutes, but I feel like I've actually done a really good job of it, and that was actually really easy. So if you have enjoyed this, please do drop a like as always. Feel free to try and overtake me whilst I'm gone for about 8-9 days or so, and upon my return I'm going to be grinding again. So the gauntlet has been thrown down. Accept the challenge, see what you can do. Gonna love you and leave you. Have a lovely day. Catch you next time. Peace.